Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Super Saiyan 2 Kale and Caulifla and how good they are at 55% in the hidden potential system. So this is the perfect duo, Super Saiyan 2 Kale and Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, and they really live up to their name. I personally love this unit. I love the design. I think it's a really good example of a reversible exchange unit that is done with, versatility and team build in mind. So they are a Universe 6 category lead of Ki +4, 220% attack, HP and defense. They greatly raise attack for one turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy, and raise their chance of critical hit and evasion by 6% in their Caulifla position. They raise their evasion chance and their critical hit chance by 6% on their 12 key. This is consistent for both Kale and Caulifla. So both of them have their consistency when it comes to that 12 key. What's different between the two forms is the 18 key. So for Caulifla, she greatly raises attack and defense one turn, whilst also raising her evasion chance by 26% for 3 turns. This is important because it means that over the course of 2 turns she can effectively retain a 52% evasion stack from her super alone, whereas Kale will do crit instead. So Kale will be able to hold 52% crit chance together, which is really good. Obviously this will stack with their 12 key. So for example, if Caulifla or Kale does, let's say, their Ultra and then 2 supers, Caulifla would have in that situation 64% evasion, and Kale would have 64% crit over the course of a 2-turn stack. So it's really good. Caulifla has Ki +6, attack and defense of 200%. Once she has an additional attack, there's a great chance of becoming a super. She evades the enemy's first attack, guaranteed, and then before receiving an attack within the turn will have damage reduction rate of 20%. After evading an attack, she'll have attack and defense of 120%, launch an additional attack, and have damage reduction of 40% for up to 6 turns. For every attack performed, she gets Ki +2, up to 6, and attack and defense of 40%, up to 120%, which is really good. When she gets 23 key spheres or 23 key spheres, because you can't get more, she has guaranteed evasion, which is pretty hard to do, but obviously that comes in line with turn 6, where starting from the 6th turn, she will change all key spheres to physical one time only. Her active skill causes open damage to the enemy and gives Universe 6 category allies Ki +1 and attack and defense of 16% in battle. Bond of Friendship, Exploding Rage, Full Power, Gifted Warriors, Master Evolution, Miraculous Awakening, Power, Pepe, Gals, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Pure Saiyans, Rapid Growth, Super Busters, Super Saiyan 2, Tournament Participants, Uncontrollable Power, Universe 6, and USS are her categories. And she shares Super Saiyan, Battlefield Diva, Warriors of Universe 6, Prepare for Battle, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power, which is great. Now, in terms of her overall functionality, the Caulifla component is a fantastic tank. So she's an evasion tank, evasion-centric tank. She does a lot of great stuff like lowering the enemy's attack and defense, which is also very helpful. But basically, really her thriving point is her critical hit and her evasion. So she is really strong from an evasion standpoint comparative to Kale, who's incredibly strong from a damage standpoint. Now, Super Saiyan 2 Kale, she is different. We've already spoken about her super attack effects, but her passive is where things are quite substantially different. So she also has 200% attack and defense. You'll notice that Caulifla also had the same. However, Kale does not have a built-in great chance of additional super. She instead guards all attacks. When attacking for the first time within the turn, she also performs a guaranteed critical hit. When attacking with 12 or more keys, she gets 100% attack up. When attacking with the active skill, when attacking with key of 24, she gets attack of 200%. When receiving an attack, she gets defense of 66% for every key. Now this is very important, because if she is at 24 ki, she has technically 1,584% defense, which, as you can imagine, is pretty good. And that applies, by the way, to her defensive abilities. So, for example, if you have defense of 100k and you were to apply this, that defense would be 1.6 million. Very, very good. Kale will apply this plus her guard, so if her defense is sitting at 160% or 160k, then she effectively will sit with around 2.5 million defense prior to super, which is really quite good when you consider that she is a absolute beast once she fires off that attack. She can do some really big damage. She can do nice chunky attack stats. I think at this level of dupes, 55%, you're down to see probably around 34, 37, 38 million very frequently, but she can do multiple supers because with 6 or more key spheres obtained, she launches 2 additional guaranteed supers. And with 23 key spheres obtained, which will only probably be the ones, she launches another 2 additional guaranteed supers. This makes her incredibly good at offense. Remember, she is stacking crit and evasion every time she fires a super. So Kale, effectively, in this turn, with her 5 super attacks, would stack a ridiculous amount of crit, an insane amount of evasion. And what's super cool about both of these units, they will hold the stacks from the other one. So for example, if you are in Caulifla form and you fire off your 18 key, giving you a 26% evasion chance, you can hold that evasion chance, switch over to Kale the next turn, and she'll retain that evasion. So it makes them an incredibly fun duo to run, because you'll always be kind of holding either crit stacks or evasion stacks, and switching between them doesn't necessarily have a negative effect. Now Kale, her active skill, is available immediately. It gives her a key plus 6 and attack of 40%. It's a huge offensive boost. Kale, the only problem I'd say around Kale and Caulifla is that Kale takes 6 turns to arrive. So it takes you 6 turns to get to the point where you can use Kale. The thing is, I understand why. Kale is very strong. The way her mechanism works, her defensive mechanism works with the key, and that she has a very, very good defense. It may not seem like it in terms of, I looked at the stats at the beginning. She has very high defense. She has incredibly good defense, especially with guard active. Yes, bosses that crit will give her problems, but she's very, very strong. And offensively, she's very, very strong as well. Like, she, at worst case scenario, is doing 3 super attacks per turn, and those are very hard-hitting super attacks. She's got good crit rates, she's got everything. Caulifla is very much the same. She may not have the damage, but she is a very solid unit. If you look at her, if you build up her evasion, if you run her with her 12 key, she's an incredibly solid unit. So this makes them a very interesting unit to design. Now, I think in terms of build, in terms of how you'd want to build them, you'll definitely want to have probably around 18, 19 additional. I think that's non-negotiable. I think you want to still have, for both of them, that chance of an additional super. It's big for Caulifla, allows her to, potentially build her evasion up into the 70% bracket, which is very important. Then you also have, obviously, the Kale component, where you can potentially build up her crit, and she does bigger damage. So additionals are super important. What I will say is that you can probably do a little bit of crit and evasion. Crit definitely helps, especially for Caulifla's side, whereas evasion definitely helps for Kale's side. So if you had something like 18, 19 additional, and maybe 6 crit, 6 evasion, might probably be where I would say is best. You could push evasion a little bit more if you want to. But yeah, I really think overall they are an excellent unit. I love them. I think they're great. And what I like the most is, barring that one active skill, which boosts only Universe 6 units, there is no other conditional requirements for these guys. So you can run them on any of their teams without really any restriction. Any of their teams, Exploding Range, Full Power, Gifted Warriors, Master Evolution, Miraculous Awakening, like any of those teams that they can fit on, they could run on. And you don't have to really worry about them. You don't have to, like, there's no conditional requirement. You can just run them. And I think that's really, really good. So they didn't give them like a weird restriction, like, oh, per universe 6 category unit, whatever.